These are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TechGig webinar series. Today, our topic is on ECM and BPM, critical success factors for e-governance initiatives. And we have with us Mr. Abhishek Rastogi, Government COE, SME, ECM practice at Newgen Software Technologies Limited. As a subject matter expert for government vertical and ECM practice at Newgen Software Technologies Limited, Abhishek is responsible for conceptualization, design and marketing strategy for government vertical. Additionally, he is also responsible for managing analyst relationships for ECM and case management discipline. Prior to his current role, he worked as a product manager ECM in Newgen. Under his leadership, his team constantly delivered innovative products and components, evaluated new technologies, and gave organization long-term competitive advantage. In his 7 years of industry experience, he has worked on large government projects of transformational nature. Abhishek has done his MBA from Indian Institute of Information Technology, Allahabad, and Engineering and Computer Science from UP Technical University. So without any further delay, I hand over the session to Abhishek. We will take up questions during our last 15 minutes, and Abhishek will be giving the presentation for the first 40 or 45 odd minutes. Over to you, Abhishek.
Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for registering for the webinar. So this is the agenda for today. The idea is to give a good perspective about enterprise content management and business process management, and particularly their relevance in government projects. I'm sure that it has a takeaway for everybody, including consultants, business analysts, beginners, professionals, architects, business users, and decision makers. The 3 W's and 1 H stand for what is ECM BPM, why they are critical for government projects, how to identify when an ECM and BPM based approach is better, when and where to use ECM and BPM in government scenario. So first we'll discuss what is content. Content is basically knowledge, information, records stored in paper, images, spreadsheets, Word documents, audio, video, and so on. In enterprise content management taxonomy, these are classified as transactional, collaborative, and persuasive. Simple definitions are transactional content comes from outside. It can be a kind of application form for any service applied by a citizen, along with all the supporting documents. Collaborative content is generated within the organization through collaborative effort, for example, a memo, proposal, plan, policy, etc. And persuasive content is the content that goes outside the organization, which can be in the form of certificate, statements, correspondence. What is enterprise content management? ECM is a set of technologies used to capture, manage, store, preserve, and deliver content or document related to organizational processes. So basically, ECM components help in managing efficiently complete life cycle of the content, be it right from the acquisition, which would mean authoring or capturing of content, then the review and approval of the content, then publishing or distribution of content, and then long-term archival of content for future use. Coming to the next slide, which is related to business process management, which is popularly known as a workflow management system, but BPM has evolved a lot from the workflow management system scenario. BPM is a systematic approach to make an organizational workflow more effective, efficient, and more capable of adapting to ever-changing environment. A BPM suite consists of many components like process modeling and design component, using which users can define their processes, then simulation engine. Using it, the process can be tested for what if scenarios. Then a rule engine. Then a process execution or process engine for executing the process. And finally, the monitoring of the process through dashboards and reports. Nowadays, many other components have come in as the part of BPM, and people are calling it as an intelligent BPM suite, where complex event processing, social capture, and business analytics are also playing key role. Government functioning is process-centric. As there are standard operating procedures to be followed, there are well-defined processes within the government scenario which needs to be followed for processing of any application, file, etc. Then there is higher amount of human involvement and decisions are taken care by officers. And during all this decision making, there is a exchange of documents, especially paper. These all things make government processes a key candidate wherein using ECM and BPM you can automate the complete scenario. How to identify when an ECM or BPM based approach is better? See, citizen and business centricity is at the core of every e-governance project. Citizen satisfaction to a large extent depends how well and how fast the services are delivered by the department. Typically, these services are process-centric and involve high amount of document exchange. Understanding the nature of these services will provide better insight into critical factors to be considered while IT system is designed to automate these services. First is the process-centric nature. These services are process-centric and typically involve following steps like application submission. These services will generally involve citizen or business to submit a process application form with supporting documents to the department. Examples are like for issuance of certificate, licenses, grants, accreditations, registration for services. Then the application is initially reviewed and an acceptance is done and a receipt is provided to the applicant. Finally, application goes for a thorough review to the panel or the respective officers, which may involve multiple steps, and there can be some to and fro communication with application for exception resolution. And then the application approval takes place using technologies like digital signatures, etc. Finally, once the application is approved, the outward document is generated. So it can be a license, it can be a certificate, it can be a grant approval note, and then that is provided to the applicant. Multiple processes. The scenario where there are multiple processes is one of the best cases which you can automate using BPM in a government. So there are multiple processes. For example, there can be a certificate issuance will require processes like business registration, sale of forms, expiry management, renewal, quality inspection. All these processes are interdependent and change with time. Laws and restructuring within the department also affects them. Then there can be municipal services. Nowadays, concept like citizen service centers is quite popular, where multiple municipal services are being provided through a single window kind of concept. So those are also kind of scenario where BPM based approach is quite good. And then the processes which involve multiple document exchange between department and applicant, these are also candidates for automation. What are the benefits of BPM based approach? BPM facilitates visually designing of workflows through graphical process modeler tool. It empowers process owners to easily design and take control of processes instead of relying on a software developer. Modular approach provides the end-to-end view of the processes and helps in quickly designing and visually identifying the redundant activities in the process. Then, in case there are multiple processes that needs to be rolled out. So, since the platform is already there, you just need to configure few forms and then allow access to multiple users to those things. So it is quick to roll out new processes, and then using a single platform you can automate multiple kind of processes which can be related to government kind of interaction, government to citizen kind of interaction, or even internal automation of a government organization. Then using the BPM kind of tool, there are techniques like for monitoring, as well as you can find out what are the bottlenecks, exceptions within the process, and then you can remove those bottlenecks to make the process more efficient. There are dashboards, reports which are available, which can be accessed by officers from anywhere, anytime, even through mobile devices. Then flexibility to change. BPM based processes are built for change. There is no hard coding being done. In case you need to add any additional field, any additional stage for approval, that can be done. And then the re-engineering of processes based on different government guidelines is pretty easy. Moreover, BPM provides standard methodologies for integration with almost all kind of systems, even with the legacy applications. So new solutions can coexist with the legacy manual system, and thus departments can leverage their existing investments. Why a document management system is essential for government projects? See, document handling is a critical component of service processing. Document needs to be available electronically, as they may be accessed and used even after the service has been delivered, while delivering additional services. In certain cases, they may be required after 5, 10 or maybe 15 years. Nowadays, when it has been seen, sometimes the scanning activity is being outsourced. Then during this processing, the documents are managed by the vendor. Today, less thought is given to vendors as to what will happen to the document after the processing is completed. Most of the time, they will submit all the scanned documents in a DVD to the department. This creates silos of information. These documents are government property and should be centrally archived in a secure, well-defined manner. Another thing is, in most large government projects, there is a case of digitization, where millions of documents are getting scanned, and it is not possible for department to do manual checking of more than 2 to 5% of the documents. So there is a need for a tool using which automatically the quality check of scanned documents can be done. Like during digitization, what happens? There can be many possible errors which can occur, like folded corners, skewness, readability errors, too dark, too light, photo in black and white, etc. Or even the orientation is not right. Nowadays, with the advancement in technology, there are automatic quality checks possible for these errors, which can not only detect these errors and correct most of these errors. So, software-based document quality analysis can play a vital role in the digitization process to certify the output. Even the authenticity of the document is pretty important. Though the quality of the scanning output is important, but the authenticity is also pretty important. Nowadays, documents can be digitally signed so that their authenticity can be verified. Even during digitization process, documents or batch of documents is being signed digitally, which can be verified at a finalization step, and then department officials can also do authentication at a later stage. Preventing loss of valuable documents by enforcing record management policies. In government departments, there are various retention and disposition rules which needs to be applied to the documents. Even the movement of documents, physical documents from one place to another place needs to be tracked. Nowadays, standard record management systems which are compliant to various international standards like ISO record management standard, DOD, US DOD standards, helps the organization to define all those rules as well as manage their physical documents. Compliance with open standards for long-term archival. PDF is one of the such formats which is platform independent and has been prescribed for long-term archival. It is an ISO format which can be used by the departments to archive documents for long-term. Finally, secure and scalable management of billions of documents. Repository for handling documents should be capable of handling storage and retrieval of billions of documents in a high performance environment. During the dumping of documents on a local disk or storing in database, can't act as a substitute as a local hard disk or a storage in database is unsecure and not scalable. So a document management system is an essential component for any government projects. Nowadays, all the mission mode projects with Government of India is running. You can see there is the emphasis on a professional document management system as a part of the software stack. How a platform-based approach is better as compared to a bespoke development? When we talk about a 5-year kind of scenario, if you use a platform-based approach for automating multiple processes, it will cost low as compared to a bespoke development, because there will be some changes will be required, and that changes will make the bespoke development highly costly. Then flexibility. See, the scenario of market guidelines of government are changing. So any hard-coded thing can't work. So the platform provides you the flexibility, agility to change, while a bespoke development is inflexible. Maintenance. Since the platforms like BPM, ECM based on standards, they are easy to maintain. They provide integration capabilities using standard methodologies like APIs and service-oriented architectures, where there are web services using which systems can be integrated with ease with any other third-party system. These systems are secure as they have been tested at multiple locations, and they have all the key things built in like rights control, authentication through Active Directory, all those things. Right architecture. For large government projects, the architecture needs to be right. Otherwise, the systems will fail. So, the platforms like ECM BPM are built using open standards and have proved at many places for scalability. So, the right architecture is inherent. And then, the system used which is being developed now has to be used for next 5 years, 10 years. So, it should be aligned with the platform. It should be aligned with the technologies that are coming up in the market, like mobility, cloud. Platforms like ECM BPM are aligned with this approach. That was all wherein I wanted to emphasize why a ECM and BPM based approach is better for a government project. Now I will take you through brief profile of Newgen, wherein we will discuss about the solutions Newgen offers on this platform. Newgen's solutions for government are focused into 4 main areas. First is citizen and business-centric services. Herein, there are solutions available for all kind of scenarios like government to citizen services, government to business services, government to government services. Another focus area is case management. So we have a comprehensive suite using which you can manage the end-to-end life cycle of a case, right from the inception or docketing of a case till the final closure of the case. So we have out-of-box applications for grant management, regulatory court case management, unemployment insurance. Here, case workers can collaboratively work with each other and do a collective decision making. Third and most important focus area is EDRMS, which helps the organizations to manage the end-to-end life cycle of the content right from capture to its final archival for long term. The solution also helps not only in managing electronic documents but also physical record management, and then it complies to standard regulatory acts like HIPAA, Privacy Act, etc. Fourth is office automation. So in most of the government projects there are two parts. One is related to the outside world, where the government processes are being exposed to citizens or other government departments. Another is the internal automation, which we call paperless office. So we have developed many solutions related to office automation, wherein we can automate completely electronic file movement and tracking based on Whitehall standards. And this solution complies with standard operating procedures published by DARPG. Then we have modules for committee and meeting management, correspondence management, office note approval, and circular management. The complete stack is built on enterprise content management and BPM engine. Now I'll take you through in brief about all the key components of the ECM and BPM suite. First is OmniScan. OmniScan is the content capture tool using which content can be captured through multiple sources. Once the content is captured, it can be uploaded to the document management repository, or it can be uploaded to the workflow engine for processing. OmniFlow is our BPM engine using which the data captured is processed through multiple stages. There you can define multiple steps, you can define various validations, exceptions, all kind of routing scenarios and the business rules. The process data as well as all the outcomes can be monitored through dashboards, which can be defined using OmniBAM. And then you can also define when these reports need to be sent to which users. Once the processing has been done, then all the persuasive content can be sent to end users or the applicants through Omni output management system, using which you can define templates of correspondence, licenses, certificates, etc., and that can be sent to users as per the schedule or on real time. Finally, the complete content is archived into a record management system for long-term preservation, where you can define your retention and disposition policies, and as well as you can do physical tracking of the documents. And then the backbone of this complete system is OmniDocs, which is a document management system which is platform agnostic, and you can archive any kind of content, be it audio, video, be it scanned document, be it image, be it PDF, be it Word, etc. This is the scanning interface. OmniScan is available both as a thick client as well as web-based solution. You can do automatic extraction of data using technologies like barcode, OCR, ICR, MICR. And then you can define all the segregation rules to segregate one record from another in a batch. OmniDocs document management system helps an organization to archive documents in a repository. So you can create a Windows-like folder structure which can be mapped to your business scenario, or it can be an organizational hierarchy of content where you can archive all kind of content into folders and subfolders. Then users can perform various library services like check-in, check-out, versioning, collaboration. The documents can be shared with other users based on rights and usage. Then there can be search criteria which can be defined, using which information can be retrieved from the system. And then there can be reports using which you can see what is happening into your repository. Our record management system is based on DoD 5015.2 and VERS standard. It has been certified for both of these standards. And then within the system, not only you can manage the electronic but your physical record also. You can define the retention, disposition policies. These policies can be based on time as well as events. See, in government, the document needs to be used for 10 years, 20 years, 50, 30 years. So in case you want to move the document after 10 years from one location to another location, that can also be done through our system. I give you an example. Many government organizations are having offices in locations which are pretty costly in terms of real estate. So once the active usage of documents is over, they can shift those documents and free that storage space for other means of purpose. They can shift the documents to some off-site storage if they are not required. And that complete movement can be managed through the record management system. OmniFlow Business Process Management System is a tool using which you can automate any process, be it of any complexity. Using the process modeling tool, you can collaboratively design the process using a drag and drop kind of interface. You can create various validations, exceptions, routing rules using which the documents or the content will be processed. Then the simulation engine helps you to test those processes in actual scenarios. There are standard adapters for integration with third-party systems using web services, JMS, APIs. Using the rule engine, you can define various business rules on basis of which the application or a content will be processed. Then using BAM, you can view in real time how the system is performing, what is happening in the system, how many applications has been processed, how many requests have been granted, and finally the content can be archived into a document management system. So this is a graphical modeler using which the processes can be designed. It is available both in thick client and thin client mode. Then the form builder, using which you can define forms which act as an interface of the user. You can define various validations, calculations, even fetch data from other sources based on various parameters. Then the rule engine. Using the rule engine, you can expose the rules as web services or JSR94 based APIs. Finally, once the data is processed, it can be sent to multiple users, to multiple modes, and all those templates can be configured using the output management system. And then the dashboards can be used for effectively monitoring and tracking the applications or complete processes. Now, how multiple processes can be automated using a BPM platform or ECM platform. So nowadays what has been seen, that government departments have a centralized data center wherein they have all the hardware and the system software as an infrastructure on which they can deploy the BPM and the ECM engine and develop multiple processes. Those processes can be related to municipal offerings like death and birth registrations, license issuance, or they can be other processes like utility bill payment system, grievance handling, court cases, all those things. And then these processes through a single interface can be exposed to citizens, and citizen can access these processes through multiple modes. He can access those processes through mobile. He can go to a citizen service center and then get the work done. He can access those services through kiosks, through web-based browsers. Once a citizen submits any application through any of these modes, then that application is processed through inherent workflow logic and automatically routed to the concerned department. Suppose somebody has applied for a birth registration, then that particular application will be routed to the municipal corporation so that it can be processed. So creating a central infrastructure for multiple processes helps in keeping the ROI also into a limit, and then the infrastructure can also be managed. And then you can also, since these all the workflow or the applications are critical, you can deploy them in high availability kind of mode, clustered environment. You can set up a DR also. So all those things can be done. Now we'll take up some of the use cases where similar solutions have been deployed. The current case study which I am taking up is related to LIC, which is one of the largest public sector insurance company in India, and it is in existence since 1956. Now I will tell you the background how this case evolved during the stages. Long back in 2006, we have done a POC in one of the branches of LIC, where we have created a repository of all the documents of that branch. Incidentally, in 2007, there was a flood in Mumbai, and the basement and the ground floor which were used to store the document got sunk. Then the LIC approached us whether we could reproduce all the documents that we have used as during the POC data, and then we provided all the documents to them from our system. That is when the project took off and they went for the tender for the enterprise document management deployment. Nowadays they have kept around 350 million customer records into our repository, which constitutes to 8 billion documents. The geographic spread of this use case is huge. The system has been deployed and accessed in more than 2100 branches, 100 divisional offices, 7 zonal offices, and a corporate office. LIC is not only managing their electronic documents through our system, they are also managing their physical warehouse through our record management system. Since they have all the offices mostly at the places where the real estate cost is very high, like Connaught Place, Santa Cruz. So after active retention period is over, they are moving all those documents to their off-site location. Leaving apart the other benefits, they could retrieve their ROI only by freeing up the space from all these costly locations. Another key thing about this implementation is it is deployed completely on open source platforms like RHEL is the operating system, PostgreSQL is the database, and Mozilla is the browser. And moreover, the system is also integrated with their COBOL-based legacy application. Another good use case, more related to BPM, is Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. CSR is a premier organization in the field of research and development in India and was constituted in 1942. We have automated more than 30 plus processes in CSR using the BPM and ECM platform. So all the physical correspondence that used to happen between department as well as between various labs of the department which are there across India is now being automated using the BPM-based correspondence management and file management system. All their lab administration processes are also automated using the platform. Then they have created a centralized archive of all their policy repository so that latest policies can be viewed by their internal users. Even their meetings are now automated. You can constitute a committee online, it gets approved, then meetings can be scheduled, minutes of meetings are captured online, they can be published, and then it can be sent as a circular to various individuals in the department. All their legal cases, other processes are also automated using the platform. UIDAI is also one of the good case studies. UIDAI project was initially conceived by the Planning Commission of India as an initiative to provide identification for each resident across the country, and it was supposed to be used primarily as a basis for efficient delivery of welfare services. Nowadays, most of the government projects, there is a requirement of integration with the UIDAI system so that many of the details of the citizen applicants can be fetched from the same system. Based on our ECM BPM platform, we have automated knowledge management portal for automation of all UIDAI administrative processes, which includes file management, correspondence management, RTI, parliament query on a single platform. The solution is integrated with the portal, e-procurement solution, HRMS, asset management, and various other systems for exchange of documents during processing. A quick snapshot of Newgen. Newgen is into software product industry, and we are focused on business process management, enterprise content management, and customer communication management solutions. We have a global footprint of more than 1,000 installations in ECM BPM case management in more than 50 countries across verticals. We are credited with world largest implementations. We have employee strength of 1,300 plus, and we have filed more than 40 patents in respective areas. We have offices across India and subsidiaries in US, Canada, and Singapore. We are a leading software product company, and if you consider outside US and Europe, we are one of the few companies to feature in Gartner Product Content as well as Forrester Wave. We are leader in content management system in India. We are credited with what largest document management deployment, that is LIC, and we are the #1 software product company in India to file patents. We are pretty strong in various verticals, like if you consider Indian market, all major banks are using our solution. In insurance, we are market leader with 7 out of 10 insurance companies using our solution. Pretty strong in BPO. You can see all the major names are there. That's all from my side. Now you can ask various questions which I will like to answer.
Thank you so much, Abhishek. I'll just start passing on the questions one by one to you. Attendees, request you all to start sending in questions for Abhishek. Abhishek, I have assigned you a couple of questions. Request you to please take a quick look.
Sure. So there is one question from Mayank where he is asking whether PDFA is being used in government projects. Yes, in all the mission mode projects, government has specified PDFA as a de facto standard. If you see all the e-code initiatives and the RFPs or tenders which are coming up recently, there PDFA has been mentioned as a technology which is being used during scanning and then for long-term archival.
Abhishek, I hope you can see the other questions as well.
Okay. One question wherein it has been asked that how we can index metadata using OmniScan. So in OmniScan basically is our scanning and capture tool using which you can configure various indexes using the templates. So these templates are configurable. So there can be different templates. Suppose you have to apply for a birth certificate. So the template may involve the name of the child, the name of the parent, the name of the address, the birth date, all those kind of fields as an index. So it depends on application to application what kind of questions, what kind of indexes that needs to be configured. There is another question wherein one user is asking about whether there is an automatic tool available with Newgen for automatically scanning the which can be used during scanning for correction of document. Yes, we have a document quality analyzer for which we have already filed a patent also, which can be used for automatically detecting various scanning based errors as well as correcting them so that they can be, all the documents which go into the repository are correct. There is one other question wherein it has been asked, most of the government projects would be using older version of ECM BPM and might now want to not to incur cost for upgrade. So how it has to be handled? See, in case government is already having a document management system. So what we can do, we can automate their new processes using a BPM platform, and then we can integrate the existing document management for storage and archival. There is another scenario wherein we can, when they will see the benefit of the new technology and the new system, they can migrate the existing system data to the new system. There is one other question where Mr. Desai has asked whether BPM, PEGA BPM can be integrated with OmniDocs or Newgen's platform. Yes, it can be integrated. Even our DMS can be integrated with any other workflow or a BPM platform. So that is available. And he has also asked what is the scenario as compared to OmniFlow in Indian market. See, Indian market, we are the market leaders and OmniFlow is pretty established as a product. We have not seen PEGA coming up as a competition in most of the government scenarios. There is one question from Mr. Rana where he is asked whether we support integration with other systems like SharePoint. Yes, we have connectors for SharePoint. So we complement SharePoint in terms of deployment. Not only our document and record management system can act as a long-term archive for SharePoint documents, we can also automate processes using OmniFlow as a BPM platform and use SharePoint as a document management repository. Does Newgen there is one question from Mr. Verma where he is asked whether the solution is multilingual. Yes, solution is multilingual and based on Unicode standard, where the solution can be metadata entry can be done in any languages, and the solution is already localized in many international languages like Arabic, Chinese, Japanese, Spanish, Portuguese, and even Indian language like Hindi, etc. There is another question wherein a user has asked whether the system is platform independent. Yes, the system is platform independent. It supports all major platforms. It is built using Java and J2E technologies and supports multiple databases like SQL, Oracle and Postgres. It supports all the major operating systems, be it Windows or non-Windows, that is Linux based like HP Unix, Solaris, Red Hat, Linux, SUSE Linux, etc. There is one question from Krishna where he is asked whether the solution is suitable for medium and small enterprises. So answer is yes. There are two ways to do that. One is an organization can go for small user pack, which can be a 5 to 10 user pack at the initial level and automate the system. Another is we are also providing solution on our cloud platform. Then you don't have to incur upfront cost for infrastructure as well as software at an initial stage, and you can subscribe on per month per user basis kind of scenario and avail all the services and the standard feature of a document and a workflow management system. Another is whether you have mobile interfaces. Yes, we do have mobile interfaces. We have a product called Zapin for capture of content through mobile system. It is used by one of the leading banks in India by more than 5,000 field executives for capture of content during customer onboarding. Then we also have our document management system OmniDocs on mobile and workflow system OmniFlow on mobile. Then there is one question from Anuj where he is asking how we differentiate our solution from our competitive products. See, one of the key differentiator of our solution as compared to competitor is it is the complete IPR of complete product suite belongs to Newgen. All the product components are homogeneous and in nature and they are well integrated. All the components have been built from scratch by Newgen only, while if you see all the major competitors in ECM BPM market, they have grown their product suite through acquisitions. And then being a principal, we also do implementation of our solution. So we take principal product, we believe in concept of principal product ownership, and we are very flexible in terms of change of where we support our deployment, we take the requirement from customers and even change if there is any relevant change that is required in the product, we do it readily. And we also have large number of reference sites in India where our product is being used since last 10 years. There is one question, does Newgen has any tool to check the quality whether it has been deployed at any place? I have already answered that we have our document quality analyzer as a tool. Yes, it has been deployed. We have used it in LIC because the scanning was outsourced to many vendors, and we have also used in Punjab and Haryana High Court. There is one another question where a user has asked whether we use any third-party component as a viewer. No, we have a inbuilt viewer, which is our applet viewer, using which all the scanned and documents as well as images can be viewed within the inherent platform. For audio, video, other kind of content, we do integrate with third-party components. There is one another question where user has asked whether there are standard adapters available for integration with other third-party systems. So answer is yes. We have standard connectors. We are SAP certified. Then we have standard connectors for systems like Finacle, FlexCube, Ingenium, SharePoint, Exchange, and all those other standard systems. There is one question wherein a user has asked, do you provide any provision for OCR? Yes. So we support capture of data using multiple technologies. During the scanning stage, you can automate the capturing of data using OCR, ICR technologies. There is one question, what kind of municipal processes can be performed automated using BPM platform? See, all kind of municipal processes like death and birth registration, license issuance, caste certificate issuance, marriage certificate, tax certificate, all these can be automated using the BPM platform. If you see the key trend in nowadays, municipal offerings are there are large various municipal projects that have come up in the market. One of the key initiatives of Government of India is e-District. So you can see, if you recently see, there was a tender from Punjab for e-District services, and they have asked for BPM platform for automation of various workflows. There is another question from Mr. Verma where he has asked whether there is bandwidth constraint in remote locations in India. How that kind of scenario is handled by the system? So the answer is we have a remote image server kind of component where you can create a local cache or repository of content at local branches or office locations. So only metadata is fetched from the central location, while the image will be shown from the local repository. And since metadata is only 5 to 10 KB, that even the bandwidth connectivity is not very good, that can be handled. This is especially useful in multiple branches kind of scenario where branches or office locations is in remote location. There is one question from Desai, Mr. Desai, where he is asking whether the rule engine and other components can be deployed over cloud environment. Yes, already our solutions are deployed on Amazon platform, as well as HP is also offering Newgen's OmniFlow and OmniDocs component on their BPO platform. So system is ready for multi-tenancy. It has been architected in such a way that it supports multi-tenant architecture. There's one question from Prashant. He's asking what kind of difficulty you face in ECM, as the data with India government organization is far more than other Western countries. Okay. See, this is understandable. Since the population of India is so high, the data with every government organization is pretty high. So the scalability of the system is one of the key criteria which a government organization looks at. Our system has been tested for various such scenarios. It has been deployed in multiple layers. It has been deployed where, especially I would like to emphasize on the case of LIC, where 25,000 users use this system and 8 billion documents are archived, and the retrieval time is less than 3 seconds. So you can see that many of the systems which have been developed other places might not have been tested for such scalability. There is one question from Viren where he is asking whether you have done integration with SAP ERP. As I have mentioned previously also, we have a standard certified connector for SAP, and we have done integration with SAP at more than 20 locations. So some of the examples are Hindustan Zinc, Vedanta, and you can visit our website to gather more information related to our ECM BPM suite as well as what we have done in government vertical. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abhishek. I think you have taken almost all the questions that came through today. In case if attendees do get back to us with more questions, with your due permission, we can share the questions with you offline over the mail.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you so much once again for taking time out today and giving this insightful presentation. For all the attendees, the recording of today's session will be available on techgeek.com by tomorrow afternoon. As I said earlier, in case if you have more questions for Abhishek, please feel free to email us, and we will take up the questions with Abhishek offline. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you so much, Abhishek, once again.